Hi, this is Danny. I am going to show you in this video how to adjust comparables so that you can come up with a final property value. So you can either type the address in, or in this particular case, I've already pulled up this particular property. And I am going to walk you through how to refine these comps. The numbers that I use for my adjustments, I live and work in North Carolina. These are going to be different on the West Coast than they are on the East Coast. Slightly different in the Midwest as well. So you need to talk to your broker or your sales director to find out what numbers you would use to refine your comps when you're doing evaluation on a property. I'm going to show you this button first. So you see the value of the property is $314, right? A couple of things. If you're working with a seller and they're telling you, hey, I remodeled my kitchen back in April of 2018. It cost me $30,000. You can go ahead and you can add that, and you'll see that it's going to change the value of the property. So typically the question that I get is, why is it not accounting for $30,000? What it does is it depreciates it over a time period, and that's a calculation that I know nothing about. However, I do know that these numbers are super accurate. So what I would do is I just click Restore Original. Also, on the flip side, if you have a buyer that's looking to purchase a home, and let's just say it needs a new roof, and that roof is going to be $15,000, I can go ahead and put that in here, and it's going to lower the value. Of course, it's going to lower it by the 15 grand because that's the actual cost today for them to replace the roof. Okay, now I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to head over to the comp analysis area. There are two versions that you can use. I use this because it's much more detailed, and I'm OCD, so I like the details. So I'm going to leave it here. If you want to see the difference, you can click in here. But first and foremost, I'm going to go and confirm the facts of the home. So in this particular case, I am just going to assume that these facts are correct. However, if you know that they are different than this, so for example, if it's a 5-bedroom instead of a 4, you can put that in there. Scroll down to the bottom, click Confirm Facts and Close. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do Find Comparables. Active and pending do not matter. When you're looking to value a property, the only thing that matters are sold. So it's single family. I'm looking for sold within the past 6 months. Because I know where this home is, it is in a subdivision. I'm going to do within a mile. If it was a rural property, I could go out above 5 miles. I could go out actually as far as I need to, but it's not a rural property. So within 1 mile, I'm going to click Search. And then in here, I am going to find the different comparables that fit my search criteria. Okay, so this is a 4-bedroom, 5-bath, 3,008 square foot house. I want something that's similar, and I want something that's in as close to the subject property as possible, which all of these are super close. This one happens to be on the same street. This was used in that in the RVM value. It was the $314,000 amount that just showed up when we put the address in. That was used in there. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to add this one. And 4-bedroom to 4-bedroom. I'm just going to pick 3 or 4 closest. Typically 3 is good enough, but they're all solid comparables. I'm going to click Update Valuation and Close. Then I need to go in and I need to adjust the comparables. And so what I'm looking for when I'm adjusting the comparables is not necessarily if it's a 2-story to 2-story or this is a ranch. You can use a 2-story comparable. But what I'm looking for are things like, okay, this one has a basement. So I'm actually going to go ahead and remove that comparable. Because mine does not say it has a basement, does it? Oh, it does have a basement. So this one does have a basement. So what I'm going to do in this particular case is I am going to go back to my comps. I am going to scroll through here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add the rest of them because I can delete them in here. Now I'm going to click in here and I'm going to adjust the comparables. So this one does have a basement. I'm going to see if the other ones don't. So the basement is a big adjustment. So I ideally would like my comparables to have a basement because the subject property does. And I'm scrolling down. So we got basement, basement, basement. So that's 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get rid of the ones that don't have a basement, which would be these two here. So I'm going to click remove, remove, and now the rest of them should have basements. And so you see this just has a B for basement. This actually does have a basement, and I know that for a fact, now that I think about it. So I'm going to come in here, change that. All right, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to adjust. So for bedrooms, I am going to give it a $2,500 valuation. Because this has 5 bedrooms, this has 4, this is better, so you give it a negative value, okay? Full baths, this one is less. It has 1 less full bath, so I'm going to add $5,000 to it. This is the same here. I'm going to add $5,000 to it. There's partial baths here. Square footage. So in my particular area, for a house like this, I use a value of about $80 a square foot. Do not use the value that you find in MLS for the square footage, or take this $314,000 divided by the square footage and think that that's going to be the number that you use. It is not. The numbers that I'm using are what appraisers in my area use. So I'm super solid on my numbers. Okay, so in this particular case, what I did is I took 3,008 square feet minus 2925. I came up with a difference of 83 square feet times $80 a square foot is 6640. But because it's less square footage than the subject, so it gets a positive value. 3243 minus 3008 is 235 times 80. This is going to get a negative value because it has more square footage. And then 3008 minus 2925 times 80 is 6640. The lot dimensions are super similar. These are tiny, tiny yards. The valuation adjustment that I do for the year, again, based off of appraisals, is $1,000 per year. And those are the predominant. If lot size was significantly different, then I would do some additional refinements. But those are the main ones that I'm doing. I'm going to scroll over here, and because I think there was a 4th one. So this one has $5,000. This is exactly the same, so it's 6640. Lot size super close. I would say if your lot size is off by more than 1/8 of an acre, you can go ahead and refine that. I use a value of $4,500 an acre here in North Carolina, unless it's a lake property, has mountain views or something like that. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click Update. And then I can create the report, but I already know my number. So my number is 329,005. That's the value of the property. And when you get really, really good at this, you will become super confident in your numbers. And I always tell people, don't challenge me on my numbers. They're rock solid. So now you can create a valuation workbook. So I would do this for a buyer, or you can do a seller's report. I'm just going to do a valuation workbook in this particular instance. I'm going to display now. Typically what I do is I get the report, download it, create a super professional email for my client and then attach this to it. When this is done generating, you'll get a pop-up message and you will hear a doorbell ring if you have the volume on your computer. If you're running multiple reports, you can see over here the status of them. This report is still pending. They typically take about 2 minutes. If you're running them in the evening when a lot of reports are being run, it may take longer, but this is where you'll find them. You can also go up under the Reports tab to see them.